The call came while the sink was still running, soap on my hands, steam in the air, her voice slicing through the phone, careless, amused. Not meant for me. "He's boring," she said. A pause, laughter. "I'm taking half." I turned the water off with my wrist. The kitchen went quiet. The house listened. I didn't breathe. I didn't blink. I stood there with my hands dripping onto the tile, counting the seconds it took for my heart to slow down. 8, 7, 6. She was supposed to be working late. The clock read 9:47 p.m. The chair at the table across from me was empty, as it had been for months. Her mug sat where she'd left it that morning, a ring of coffee at the bottom like a bruise. The call ended. The line went dead. No apology, no panic, just silence. I dried my hands carefully. I set the towel back where it belonged. I sat down. In my head, a door closed. Not slammed, closed. I replayed her voice. The way she said boring, the confidence in half. She wasn't guessing. She was planning. I didn't feel anger yet. Anger is loud. This was colder. This was arithmetic. 8 months of late shifts. 8 months of careful lies. 8 months of my life treated like an expense to be divided. I looked at the calendar on the fridge. Thanksgiving circled in red. I smiled for the first time that night. I told myself it was nothing. That's how it starts. You tell yourself stories because the truth demands action, and action demands courage. I chose patience instead. I chose silence. She came home after midnight, smelling like a hotel lobby. Clean, expensive, unfamiliar. She kissed my cheek and asked if I'd eaten. Her eyes didn't search my face. She already knew the script. I watched her talk. The hands, the practiced sighs, the way she dropped her bag by the door like a worker returning from labor. In bed, she turned away from me, phone glowing under the blanket. I stared at the ceiling and cataloged the cracks. There were 5 above the fan. I hadn't noticed them before. Over the next weeks, the world sharpened. Little things stopped hiding. Her phone never left her side. Her late shifts aligned perfectly with Fridays. She stopped asking about my day. She started correcting my words, like she was already rehearsing a different life. One afternoon, her friend called our landline by mistake. An old number, a slip. I listened from the hallway. "She knows?" the friend asked. "No," my wife said. "He's predictable. He'll be fine." Predictable, like gravity, like a paycheck, like something you lean on until you're done with it. I walked past the doorway without making a sound. I went to my study. I opened a drawer I hadn't opened in years. Inside were documents, accounts, contingencies. I had built my life quietly. She'd mistaken quiet for empty. That was her first error. I became a ghost in my own house. I smiled when she smiled. I nodded when she spoke. I made dinner. I paid bills. I asked neutral questions and accepted vague answers. I learned the rhythm of her lies. At night when she slept, I worked. Phone records first. Easy. Patterns bloomed like mold. Numbers repeated. Calls timed to the minute. Gaps where there should have been nothing. My phone is quiet. So am I. And that is the sound of winning. Then receipts. Restaurants I'd never heard of. Hotels near her office. Charges split carefully like someone hiding footprints. I hired no one. I told no one. I trusted data. Data doesn't flinch. Thanksgiving approached. My daughter-in-law called to coordinate dinner. Her tone was sharp, already impatient. "If you want to join Thanksgiving," she snapped, "come wash the dishes." I held the phone away from my ear for a second. I imagined her face, young, confident, counting, what she thought would soon be hers. "Enjoy," I said and hung up. That night I booked a flight. Switzerland. A villa overlooking water so still it looked painted. I'd bought it years ago, quietly, through a holding company with my father's initials. A place I'd never needed, until now. I scheduled emails. I arranged transfers. I separated assets with surgical precision. Not to hide them, no. To reveal them. When the time came, I watched my wife pack for another late shift. I kissed her forehead. I told her to drive safe. She didn't notice my hands were steady. The proof arrived in a thin envelope. Photos, dates, names, a timeline so clean it felt merciful. I didn't open it right away. I made coffee. I drank it black. I sat at the table and listened to the house breathe. When I finally looked, nothing surprised me. The man was younger, predictable. A coworker with ambition and borrowed charm. I waited until Sunday. She sat across from me, scrolling through her phone. I placed the envelope between us. "What's this?" she asked. "Open it," I said. She did. Her face changed in stages: confusion, recognition, fear. She looked up, mouth opening. I raised a hand. "Don't," I said softly. Silence stretched. Her eyes filled. Mine didn't. "I know about the plan," I continued. "The half. The timing. The stories you practiced." She started crying then, loud, messy, as if volume could bend reality. "I was lonely," she said. "You were distant." I nodded once. "Not agreement, closure." "I've already filed," I said. "Already separated accounts." "Already left." Her breath hitched. "Left?" I stood. "I leave tonight." The photos went online at noon the next day. Not of her. Of the villa. Glass walls. Mountains. Sunlight spilling across marble floors. A caption with coordinates and nothing else. My phone rang once. Then again. Then it didn't stop. 71 calls by nightfall. My wife, her parents, my daughter-in-law. Numbers I didn't recognize. Panic has a sound. It's shrill. It's urgent. It believes it can still negotiate. I answered none of them. At Thanksgiving, they ate without me. I imagined the table. The empty chair. The questions no one wanted to ask. That evening, I sent one message. Assets disclosed in court filings. Enjoy the dishes. My wife showed up at the house, pounding on the door. I watched through the camera as she slid down the wall, sobbing. The neighbors watched, too. I turned the screen off. The villa lights came on as the sun set. Water turned gold. The air smelled like pine and distance. People think revenge is loud. It isn't. It's subtraction. It's removing yourself from the equation they thought they controlled. It's letting them face the math alone. I walk the terrace in the mornings now. I drink coffee with both hands. I sleep without listening for footsteps that won't come. Sometimes I remember her voice on the phone. "He's boring. I'm taking half. I don't feel anything when I do. Not anger, not sadness. Just a note in a ledger already settled.